I first learned I was going to a wedding a few Mondays ago, exactly 1 week before it took place. Most people find out about weddings months ahead when they receive a pretty invitation in the post. The way I found out wasn't as pleasant. I was minding my own business on the playground before school, enjoying my post-breakfast donut. Then Rosie Taylor, the worst human who's ever lived, suddenly appeared from nowhere and shoved her face into mine. "Why are you ruining my life again, you puke-tastic little skid mark?" I told you she was nasty. I nearly dropped my donut. "What have I done now?" I asked. Rosie blames me for everything that goes wrong in her life, even if it's nothing to do with me. Seriously, she once tried to get me chucked out of school because she found a fly in her lunch. She said this was my fault because I'm so smelly that flies follow me in a swarm, and that I should be expelled because I'm a public health risk. Rosie jabbed her finger into my chest. "I've just found out that your cousin Lee is marrying my cousin Kat next Monday. How can you be in the same family as me? You're barely in the same species." I couldn't reply to this because I had a lot to get in my head all at once. Number one, I wasn't expecting to see Rosie. She hadn't been at school for a whole week since sneezing all over Princess Lucy, the future queen, during a royal visit to the town. This is a long story involving a flying badger. Rosie had been hiding at her family's holiday home in Barbados ever since, then because the sneeze had made her world famous. Number two, I already knew that my cousin Lee was marrying a girl called Kat, but I had no idea that Kat was related to Rosie. For a start, she seemed quite nice. And I've already mentioned that Rosie is definitely not nice. A few days earlier, a parcel from Barbados had arrived at my house. Inside it was a rotting dead octopus and a note from Rosie that said, "I've finally found something even uglier than you. It's got a nicer personality though, and it smells much better than you do. Maybe it could take your place at school before I get back." She doesn't like me very much. While I was dealing with these two surprises, Rosie was still jabbering away and it was hard to think straight. "And your cousin must be as nasty as you because I wasn't even invited," she said. I could definitely understand why Lee and Kat hadn't invited Rosie to the wedding. I wouldn't invite her to anything. She once ruined this girl called Chloe's birthday party by telling Chloe's mum that the party was a tacky mess and that she would have had more fun at home, scraping dead skin off her verrucas. How could they have a wedding without #Rosie Taylor there? She carried on, the lips of her little slug bum mouth tight and pale. Obviously, Kat was worried that I was so gorgeous that I'd make her look like a fugly little troll. "Fugly?" I asked. Rosie tutted. "Fat and ugly, you cheese-brained moron." Rosie thinks she's beautiful, but actually she's got a face like a smashed piano. I swallowed a mouthful of donut and changed the subject. "I thought you were in Barbados." She sighed, like it was hard work talking to someone as stupid as me. "The thought of my cousin marrying into your family makes me feel like stabbing myself in the head with a fork. But my mum and I were so angry about not being invited that we flew straight home. As soon as I landed, I stormed round to see Kat and Lee and demanded an invite, or I would find an old gypsy woman to curse their children." "Well, that's a normal reaction," I said. For Rosie, anyway. Rosie narrowed her eyes at me. "So Ovs, Kat said I could come. But then your idiot cousin Lee said that if my family was coming, then your family should come too." You mean..." "Yes," snapped Rosie. "You and your dismal parents are going to get an invite as well, which is going to ruin everything. They might as well invite a gang of chimpanzees. The chimps will have better table manners for a start, and unlike the garstangs, they can be trained not to poo in their hands and fling it at the walls." I ignored the insult because this was serious. I think. I didn't want to go to the wedding. I'd been relieved when Lee had told us that he was sorry, but they didn't have space for us. But now, thanks to Rosie, I was going to have to wear a tie and sit through all the stupid speeches and dances and kisses, and not to mention the depressing fruitcake. But things were about to get a lot worse.